Hi everybody, Blair Farrar here. Thanks for joining me as we talk about breathing. If you go and do a search on YouTube today, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of videos on breathing exercises. Different breathing exercises you can do, TED Talks on breathing exercises. Breathing exercises are something that I talk about with people all the time. But what I find is that there's a disconnect between the acknowledgement that doing a breathing exercise is a helpful practice and the reality of why that works and why you need to be doing it regularly. In fact, we already have this innate sense that when we're upset, we need to breathe. How many times have you been in a situation and you've had someone tell you, just breathe? Breathe, it's going to be okay. Or you've even told somebody else that, just take a breath, calm down for a moment. We know instinctively that this is a good idea, but the reality is very few of us understand how or why to breathe in these situations to make ourselves feel better. So I want to give you some information on why breathing works and what you can do to make it work for you more consistently. Think about the last time you got really excited or upset or afraid or any of those things. What happened in your body? When we enter into a state called fight or flight or freeze is actually a big part of this too, our bodies kick into high gear. Our breathing rate goes up, our heart rate goes up, and our brain actually starts to work a little bit differently. The normal narrative part of the brain that puts together pieces of our day, I had breakfast, then I did this, then I did this, that part of the brain actually turns off. And our brain starts to operate on a much more primitive level, on a fight or flight or freeze. I have to survive. Some neuroscientists say that our brain operates on an 18-second window at this point. We're not thinking about long term. We're not thinking about our previous experiences other than what gets us through this moment. This is scary. This is bad. I have to survive. This is called the sympathetic nervous system. So our sympathetic nervous system is engaged at these times. It governs fight or flight or freeze. The opposite to our sympathetic nervous system is our parasympathetic nervous system. This system is in charge of what's called rest and digest. So you can think about these on opposite ends of a spectrum. While one is on, the other cannot also be on. We're either in one mode or another. I'm not going to rest and digest food if I'm about to become a meal. I kick all that to the curb and I am ready to run or fight or freeze, whichever the case may be. In those moments, remember, our brain isn't working on a normal narrative everyday basis. And where we store our ability to calm down, to talk us out of a situation, is in that normal narrative everyday part of the brain. It's in that part of the brain that can say, this isn't that bad, this might be uncomfortable, but I'm going to be okay. That is silenced at this point. So how do we calm ourselves down when the sympathetic nervous system is on? As you recall, our normal narrative part of the brain that can talk us out of a situation is not working right now. So if we can't think ourselves into a calm space, we have to go through the back door. We have to manually slow the body systems down to give ourselves the signal that it's okay, I'm not about to be eaten. I can calm down and re-engage all of my senses and all of my brain function at this time. The way we do that is through breathing. Our heart rate is up, our breathing is up, so if we can slow our breathing down, it slows the whole system down. As you are setting up good breathing practice for yourself, there's a few things that you want to keep in mind. First of all, anatomy. We want to fill up our lungs as much as possible. If you're only breathing into the top of your chest, you're not breathing deeply enough for these exercises. So you want to fill up your abdomen. Imagine your diaphragm, the muscle that pulls down your lungs. That needs to expand and pull down with every breath. There's a few ways to check this for yourself, so use whatever is the most comfortable for you. You can place your hands on your stomach and feel it going in and out. You can also place your hands on your sides and imagine your ribs expanding out and back in. Another way you can do this is if you lay down, you can put a pillow on your stomach and watch the pillow rise and fall. That way you know you're breathing into your abdomen and into your diaphragm correctly. The other thing you want to do is to keep your breathing even and slow. There are several different ways that you can count as you're breathing. I suggest you go find other YouTube tutorials out there if you're interested in some of these other methods. Personally, I find a very measured 4-4 count to be the easiest to remember and very effective. There are other methods that get at slightly different things. Go look at those if you're interested. I use 4-4. It's 4 counts in, 4 counts out. It's easy to remember, especially if you're in crisis. The other benefit to counting to 4 in your head is that it gives your brain something to hang on to while you're in a moment of crisis. If I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, it helps me turn my attention to numbers, which are usually very benign, instead of whatever it is that's upsetting me at the moment. It helps distract my thoughts and anchor my thoughts to something very clear, very calm, very measured. So I breathe in through my nose for 4 counts, filling up my abdomen, and then I breathe out. You can breathe out through your nose, or you can breathe out through your mouth very gently for 4 counts as well, filling and emptying your lungs as fully as possible during these times. So let's do some practice, practical practice. Before we get started, I want you to do this. On a scale of 1 to 10, just make a note for yourself. Where are you when it comes to tension or stress? What is your stress level right now? It could be anywhere on the scale. I just want you to have a number. Keep in mind what I just went over. We're going to breathe in and out to a 4 count. I will count for you. I'll put some nice pretty trees up so you can look at that while we're breathing. And we're going to breathe for about 1 minute. So get ready to breathe with me, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Get ready and breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. 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 Out. 2, 3, 4. Last breath. 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. Thanks for doing that with me. Now think about that scale, 1 to 10. Think about your previous number. Where are you now? It might be just a point, half a point, maybe 3 points different. I don't really care what the number is. I just want you to notice that doing something like this, even for a short time, even if you're already feeling okay, makes a change for you. Make note of that. You're building experiences to lean back on when things seem really tough. You can look back on this experience and note to yourself, you know what, I really did actually feel a reduction in tension just from 50 seconds of breathing. So breathing as the back door to calm our system down is extremely important. But it doesn't work if the only time you try to do slow measured breathing is when you're getting upset. Think of it this way. I wouldn't give someone a book on basketball, have them read the book and then say, okay, fine, you're ready to go play a game. I wouldn't give you one lecture on music theory and hand you an instrument and then expect you to be able to play a symphony. That's not how we work. That's not how we learn. We need to practice. We need drill. We need to get our bodies and our muscles and even our minds used to a practice so that when we need it, when the pressure is on, when it's game time, we're ready to go and we don't even have to think about it. So when you're doing breathing exercises, the point of doing them daily is so that you have them there when you need them. If you're only practicing this when you start to get upset, it's not going to work for you. Trust me. I actually worked with someone once who told me that they couldn't do breathing exercises. Whenever they attempted to do a breathing exercise, they had a panic attack. And the reason for that is that they only tried to breathe when they were about to have a panic attack, and it became a trigger for them. I don't want that for you. I want you to be able to use this in a way that's helpful for you and that actually makes sense. On the other side of the coin, I have a colleague who has done breathing exercises for years, regularly, deliberately. She's gotten to a point where she only has to think the word breathe and her body starts to calm down. I admire her greatly. I'd love to be at her level at some point. It's going to take me a little bit longer though. So I hope you join with me in this practice. I really hope that what I've gone over today helps inspire you to do some breathing practice of your own and gives you a reason and some examples as to why this is an important thing to be doing, not just when you get upset, but every day so that your body is trained, so that you have some positive triggers for yourself when you decide to take this out in the wild and use breathing in your day-to-day experience. If you found this helpful, please like, comment, subscribe, all of those great YouTube-y things, and I hope to see you back here again very soon.